Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavai Tejasvinavadhetamastu Mahavidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shruti Smriti Puranana Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Pada Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Puna Puna. Today it happens to be Saturday, and therefore we are doing MULAVIDYA-NIRASA. The author now, he says, Jeki Samadhanam, Jeki ka some people's Samadhanam. Some people answer like this, from our own group, from the Advaita Vedantis. Wrongly, they posit Mula Vidya. Mula Vidya is something that is to be inferred. Why should we infer the ignorance, Ji? When what is truth is self-evident, everything else is Anubhav Vishayam. The Avidya also should be Anubhav Vishayam. If it's Anubhav Vishayam, why should you have to infer it? There is no reason why you should infer. If they say you have to infer it from Sushupti, I say Sushupti is not a state of ignorance. Sushupti is a state of non-perception of the world. This world was not there. This world was not there. This is a non-perception. Non-perception means the perception of the absence of the world. This world, after waking up, you understand, this universe was not present in Sushupti. These objects were not present. This body was not felt by me. This breath was not felt by me. In this manner, that is from the deep sleep state. But from the sleep point of view, only you are there. There was neither a presence nor absence of things. Presence of things and absence of things are also in the form of thoughts, the presence of thought and absence of thought. But they are not there. And therefore, presence of thought was not there, absence of thought was not there. And therefore, it is only when nothing is there, you are very much there. That nothing is there also is your experience. And therefore, what you are experiencing is not the absence of the elements. What you are experiencing is your existence. And therefore, Shankaracharya says that you have to Anubhuyamanatvat, it is being experienced. And therefore, what is within experience has to be understood that it is within experience. Not that really you don't have to experience it. Everybody wants to experience it. That is wrong, Ji. It is already within experience. Therefore, Atma is Anubhava Swarupam. Everything else is Anubhava Vishayam. These two statements you have to understand. Anubhava Swarupam and Anubhava Vishayam. It is in the form of Anubhava. And every object is Anubhava Vishayam. This you have to understand. This is the experiencer and the object of experience. The Atma is in the form of the Anubhava experience, and every object is in the form of an object of experience. And this is what you have to understand. Yeke Samadhanam, they say. Atmana Karna Vidya Sambandha Sushupta. Even in the deep sleep state, they think that a Mula Vidya is there, and therefore Atma is connected to Mula Vidya. That means in the waking state there are objects, there is a connection with the objects. In the dream state there is a connection with the dream objects, and in the deep sleep state also there is connection with the Mula Vidya. They think like that. What is Mula Vidya? Mula Vidya means you don't have to. Mula Vidya means as distinct, as different from Tula Vidya. Tula Vidya means effectual ignorance. Mula Vidya means the causal ignorance. What causes the error is what is called the Mula Vidya. Mula Vidya means a changing material cause. The changing material cause is what is called Mula Vidya, according to the Mula Vidyavadis. But we don't accept the Mula Vidya. We don't accept the Mula-vidya. They say Mula-vidya has to be inferred from the deep sleep state. Ekya samadhanam. Atmanah karana-vidya sambandha asti sushupto. Even in sushupti also, there is Mula-vidya. And Atma is connected to that. And therefore, never there is Nirvisesha Atma. Never there is Advaita Atma. Advaita Atma, there is no Advaita Atma. Even in Sushupti, there is connection to Mula Vidya. And therefore, in the waking state, Atma is connected to the waking objects. In the dream, it is connected to the dream objects. In the deep sleep state, it is connected to the Mula Vidya. And therefore, never there is Atma, Advaita Atma. In this manner, they say. Asmadiyaha Kechid Samadhanamahu. Asmadiyaha means from our own group, our own people, give the answer to this above answer. What is the above? What is the answer? Satyamaha Bhavan. Yes, Jignas Pratipatti ke liye. He says, Jignas Pratipatti, what is Jignas Pratipatti? Jignas Pratipatti means he thinks like any normal person. Jignas Pratipatti means even a student before he goes to school, before he goes to the teacher, before he studies the Vedanta, he thinks like anybody else. And how does he think? That the waking world is there, that the waking world is real, the dream world may be mithya. In Sushupti, he doesn't think about the Mula Vidya. It is teachers. Teacher says, and these people also say that the prapancha is real. And the Mula Vidya says, Atmanaha Satyamaha Bhavan Yad Jagadidam Nissesham Sushuptav Na Praviliyate iti. Satyamaha Bhavan. आपने जो कहा वो ठीक कहा. Yat Jagadidam, this universe, Nissesham, totally, Sushuptav in Sushupti, Na Praviliyate iti. It is not, it doesn't go away. In Mula Vidya doesn't go away, in Sushupti also it is not resolved, it doesn't resolve, even in Sushupti. And therefore, na praviliyate yataha satam satam asam atma, this self, always sansara dashayam, in sansara, anadya vidya pratibadda, drishtina eva, as an individual, as a jiva, he thinks that I am an individual. I am in Sansara Dasha. A man always thinks that I am an individual. Man always thinks an individual. I am an individual means I am Deha. I am an individual means I am a Deha. Atyama Bhavan yad jagadidam nishesham sushupto na praviliyate iti. Yataha satam asavatma sansara dashayam anadya vidya pratibadha drishtina eva kartritva bhoktritve swasya jatum jatuchi jahati. It never renounces the kartritva bhoktritva, kartritvam, the doership and the enjoyership, it never renounces. It always tries to do something and get something and enjoy something. And that is the drishti that a jiva has. By that drishti alone, by that sight alone, it thinks. Yadyapi sarva paricheda shunya iva drishyate sushupta. Even though Atma looks as though it is nirvisesham in Sushupti, but it cannot be nirvisesham. If it is nirvisesham, why do you have to wake up? And therefore, they think, Mula Vidyavadi thinks that in Sushupti also, even though the Atma looks like nirvisesham, but it is not nirvisesham. It is connected to Mula Vidya. In this manner, they say. तथापि तदानीमपि विद्यते एव अस्य मिथ्याभूत अज्ञान संबंधः. Even in Sushupti, there is mithya jnana avidya. Mithya ajnana. It is called mithya ajnana. They call it as mithya ajnana. It is ajnanam. It is because it is jnana virodhi. It can be. It is against. It can go. It can be negated by jnanam, and therefore it is a jnana virodhi. It is not a jnana abhava. They think the Mulavidyavadis think it is Jnana Virodhi. It is not Jnana Abhavaha. There is a difference between Jnana Abhavaha and Jnana Virodhi. Mulavidyavadis always say, we are indeed, they are indeed Mula, they define Jnana as Avidya as Jnana Virodhi, whereas the Adhyasvadis say it is not Jnana Virodha, it is not Jnana Virodhi, it is Jnana Abhavaha. Man doesn't, because for lack of understanding of the rope as rope, you think of the snake. Otherwise, if there is a jnana, if there is no understanding that it is rope, then why do you have to think that it is snake ji? And therefore, it is jnana abhavaha. According to this, there are two schools. One school thinks that it is jnana virodhi. It's opposed to ajnanam. That is mula vidya. Whereas some other people, we think that it is only jnana abhavaha. Jnana abhavaha is right. Jnana virodhitvam is not right. There is no jnana virodhi. There is only jnana abhavaha. And therefore, yajyapi sarva paricheda shunya, iva drishyate sushruto tadhapi tadanimaphi vidyate eva asya mithya bhuta ajnana sambandha. Tattva ajnanam jnana bhadyamiti krutva yajyapi mithya ityuchyate. Even though we say that Mula Vidya is Mithya Ajnanam, because it can be negated by Vidya, and therefore it is Jnana Virodhi. It is Jnana Virodhi, and therefore it is called Mithya Vityuchite. Tadhapi, Yavan Mukti Anuvartishna, until you get liberated, Mula Vidya continues to be there. Anuvartishnutvat. Anuvartishnutvat means it because it continues to be there. It continues to be there until I get liberated. And therefore, anuvartishnutvat na sushupti matrena. Just by going into the deep sleep state, nobody gets liberated. And therefore, deep sleep state doesn't liberate a person. In this manner, they think. But in the deep sleep state is something. In the deep sleep state, there is nothing else. It is everybody's experience. And therefore, there is nirvisesham. If Atma is not nirvisesham, if Atma is not Advaitam, if Atma is not free, then on what basis do you? That means Atma is not evident to be Advaitam. If Atma is not evident, then what basis do you teach Vedanta? This is very important, to note. If Sushupti is not Atma, Advaita Atma, then on what basis? What is the evidence of Atma? What is the evidence of Atma to teach Vedanta? On what basis can you teach Vedanta? Kasachit kaivalya prapti prasanjivitum shakyate. Na sushupti matrena kisi ka bhi nobody has gets liberation just by going into the deep sleep state. Tasya ajnanasya Maya, and this ajnanam is called Maya, Avidya, Prakriti, Bija, Adi, Aneka Vyapadesha, Bhajaha, Karanavastha, Karyavastha, iti cha, Dve Rupestaha. And it is called Maya, Shakti, Bijam, etc., Avidya, etc. But then they think that it is Mula Vidya is the same as Maya, but Maya is Shastra Kalpitam. Avidya is Avidya Kalpitam. And therefore Avidya is Adhyas Rupa. Adhyasa is Avidya Kalpitam. Maya is Shastra Kalpitam. Shastra is different from when you are what I find myself with. That is called Avidya Kalpitam. And Shastra explains, Shastra does the Kalpana in order to negate that avidya, in order to correct that avidya. And therefore, in the Shastra Prakriya, in the methodology of Shastra, figures the Maya. And therefore, avidya and Maya are not synonyms. One is avidya is Maya, avidya kalpita, and Maya is Shastra kalpita. and therefore Adhyasa is Avidya Kalpita, and and Maya is Shastra Kalpita. And therefore, Kasachit Kaivalya Prapti Prasanjitum Shakyate. Tasya Maya Vidya Prakriti Bijadi Aneka Vyapajaha Karanavastha, and it has got this Mula Vidya has got a Karanavastha and then Karyavastha. Karanavastha means it has got a causal state and it has got and it remains as an effect. The waking is considered to be the effect, the dream is considered to be the effect, and the deep sleep state is considered to be the causal state. The deep sleep state is not the causal. They say Mula is a changing material cause, and Brahman is the unchanging material cause. And the Brahman is unchanging material cause. That's called Vivarta Upadana Karanam. In this manner, there are two causes. Other than a rope, for snake, there is no other reason to posit, no reason to posit anything else, any changing cause. And there is no more, we don't experience any Mula Vidya there. The only reason is the rope ununderstood, the rope unseen looks like snake. The rope ununderstood as rope looks like snake. Similarly, Advaitam ununderstood as Advaitam looks like Dvaitam. One moon as ununderstood as one moon, it looks like two moons. In the same manner, the shell ununderstood as shell looks like silver. And therefore the cause is only one. That is the fact. The fact, what is there alone is the truth. What alone is there is the material cause for the error. The fact is the material cause for the error. The factuality and the material causeness is the same. The fact is the material cause for the truth, for the error. And therefore, whereas these people say, no, Mulavidyavadis say, they say, no, we don't accept. We have to accept the changing material cause. Otherwise, how can it happen? How can it become material in nature? And therefore, the Mula Vidya is material in nature, and therefore it also is there. And therefore it goes through change and then becomes the Jagat. Mula Advaitam and plus Mula Vidya, both together make the universe. The universe is Jadam because the Avidya, Mula Vidya is Jadarupam. Mula Vidya, the Jagat changes, and therefore Mula Vidya, because Mula Vidya also changes. In this manner they say. They talk about like this. Kaivalya prapti prasanjayitum shakyate. Tasya ajnanasya maya avidya prakriti bijadi aneka vyapadesha vajaha karanavastha karyavastha iti cha dve rupistah. Sushuptau cha karanavastham apya apnoti avidya. In the deep sleep state, this Mula Vidya becomes the causal state. It assumes this, it assumes the subtler form, and it becomes the causal, becomes the effect in the waking and the dream. And in the deep sleep state, it assumes the causal state, causal nature. In this manner, they say. Apnotya vidya. Yat satyam sana tattva grihyate. It is true that you don't see anything other than you don't see anything in Sushupti, but still you have to accept that there is something. How can you accept, Ji? If nobody can perceive, nobody can see, then there is no, then how can you say? You have to accept that there is Mula Vidya. How can you, why should I accept that there is Mula Vidya when I don't see anything in Sushupti? Before the birth, there was nothing in anesthetization. When a person is anesthetized, and nothing is seen. And when a person is swoons, nothing is seen. And therefore, even though nothing is seen, but the Mula Vidya is there. How do you know? In your experience, you don't experience the Mula Vidya. I don't experience Mula Vidya. Nobody experiences Mulavidya. How do you say that it is there? On what basis can you say that it is there? And therefore, we can't accept, and therefore it is not to be. Avidya can never be inferred. If you are ignorant of the French, it is already within your experience. If you don't know the French, then that ignorance of the French, you already have the knowledge. You don't have to make an inference that is that I must be having avidya, I must be having French avidya. Nobody says that I must be having. Everybody says I do have. I am still ignorant of French. I don't know French. Everybody experiences in the same manner. A scientist also, a person goes to school because he knows that he is ignorant. He has to learn things. Supposing you begin to learn a language, that is because you know that you don't know the language. You know that you don't know. And then therefore when you know that you don't know, then it is directly known. And it is when you directly know, you don't know it through eyes, you don't know through ears, you don't know through the taste, touch, smell, etc. You don't know, it's not sense evident, it is self evident. Ignorance is anubhav vishayam. For whom? For the consciousness. It is the conscious being that knows avidyaji. And therefore it is the conscious being that experiences the conscious avidya also. And therefore we don't have to say that mulavidya eva sumitya iti sushuptau cha karanavasthavam apnoti iti avidya. Yat satyam sana tatra grihete. It is true that it is not visible in sushupti. Tathapi Vyanjaga bhavadeva I am agraha. How do you know? There are no senses. What is it that is without Vyanjakama? Vyanjakam means what manifestation. Because of the non-manifestation, it doesn't nothing manifests it, and therefore it is there. It has to be accepted to be there. It's not visible, it's not seen, but you have to accept it. You can't say that. सत्यम स्थान तत्र गृह्यते तथापि व्यंजक अभावादेव अयम अग्रहः न तो अविद्यमानत्व हेतुः. It is not because it's not there. It is there. It is there, and therefore it is there, and therefore you have to understand that it is there. It is, if it is there, then why do you have to? If it is there, if you know it, Swatasiddha by if you know it, then why do you have to infer it? You don't have to infer it. But they say that you have to infer it through something. Infer it from avidya, from the deep sleep state. Avidya matma hetoho iti suptositanam paramarshad avagamate. After waking up, you remember the deep sleep state also. And you also remember that I did not know anything. I did not know anything. I did not know anything, and including Mulavidya. Your Mulavidya also was not there. There was nothing. If it was there, then Bhashyakara says in Brihadaranyaka Bhashya that if it is there, the things are not known in Sushupti because they are not there in Sushupti. In nobody's Sushupti, they are there. In nobody's Sushupti, and therefore in Sushupti you are Nirvisesham. And because you are Nirvisesham in Sushupti, that's why Vedanta can be studied, Vedanta can be heard. And therefore, what is the Paramarsha? Paramarsha means how does he remember? What does he remember? Paramarsha means memory. How does he remember? A person who Swape Nakinchid Abhyadishma iti. In Sushupti, I don't understand. I don't understand anything. I don't see anything. I become totally ignorant. You may become ignorant of the objects. You can't become ignorant of yourself. The self is, there is no self-ignorance there. Because there is no thought of knowledge, there is no thought of ignorance. You are indeed, at that time, you are alone there. And therefore, I didn't know anything, means I didn't see anything, is only referring to the objects. You didn't see any objects. That doesn't mean that you didn't see, you didn't experience yourself also. Because after waking up, these objects were not there. From the waking point of view, it is a non-perception of the objects, but from the deep sleep from the Anubhava point of view, it is your experience only. It is yourself, nirvisesham. From the Sushupti point of view, you are only yourself, the nirvisesham. Atma is nirvisesham. And therefore, you don't have to infer if it is there, you don't have to infer the Mula Vidya. Everything should be there as evident as any object. It should be Anubhava Vishayam. It should be, if it is a matter of experience, then why do you have to infer if Sushupti, if Mula Vidya is a matter of experience, you don't have to infer it. This is a flaw. This is a fallacy. And therefore, nacha ayam paramasha kevalam jnana abhava vishayaka. It doesn't mean it's not a jnana abhava. It is jnana virodhi. Jnana virodhi, jnana abhava, because there is jnana also is not there. Jnana syapi abhavat sushupto. There is neither thought of ignorance nor thought of knowledge. I don't know is there. I know is also not there. There is neither thought of ignorance nor thought of knowledge. It is not a state of ignorance or knowledge. It is a state of your nature. It is a state of being your nature. It is a state of your nature. And therefore it is Advaitam. And therefore your nature is Advaitam. Advitiyatvam, because what is experienced, if nothing is experienced, and then it is a state of Advitiyam. Because you transcend the body, you transcend the breath, you transcend the senses and the mind and the thoughts, and therefore there is no second thing, and therefore only you are there. How do you know that you are there? Even in meditation, when you think of all thoughts are gone, you are there, you remain. When the thoughts are not there, when the thoughts are controlled, you remain. You can't control yourself. It is choicelessly present, and therefore what is choicelessly present cannot be controlled. You can't make yourself non-existent, and therefore the thought can be made non-existent, but you can't make yourself the non-existent factor. And therefore, even in meditation, the thoughts come and go. When all the thoughts are gone, you remain in yourself, and therefore it's not something that's dualistic. It is Advaitam. And in Sushupti, it is not a Dvaitam, it is Advaitam. Atma is Advaitam. Atma being Advaitam, and therefore you don't have to think that it is Dvaitam. Mamapi aham na jnatavan. I don't understand myself. Iti atma vishayakasya ajnanasya paramarsham asti. In the deep sleep state also I did not know myself. I did not know myself. I did not know the objects. I did not know myself as an individual. That doesn't mean Mula Vidya covers. He says that some avarna has to be accepted at the end. He says some avarna. How can the Mula Vidya enclose awareness? Awareness being unlimited, nothing can, no faculty can enclose, no thought can enclose awareness. Can cover awareness. You are able to see ignorance only in the light of the consciousness, and that consciousness cannot be covered. Consciousness cannot be covered because consciousness is something. Consciousness cannot be covered because in the light of consciousness alone, you see the Mula Vidya. You see anything for that matter. The thought also doesn't cover consciousness. Nothing covers consciousness because consciousness cannot be covered. Why it cannot be covered? Because in the light of consciousness alone, you see everything. The limitation you see, and the limitation you do, that the presence of things and absence of things is seen only in consciousness. You see the presence of the presence of the objects called the waking objects. You see the presence of the dream objects. You see the absence of the You will come to know that the absence of the waking objects and the dream objects, both the states are absent in the deep sleep state, and that also you know, and therefore nothing can be covered in the waking, nothing can cover consciousness. Consciousness is uncoverable, it is unlimited. Consciousness by nature, it is unlimited. Just as the fire is by nature, it is hot. The sun is by nature, it is light, luminous. In the same manner, Atma also is, consciousness also is unlimited by its nature, Swarupa Avadharanam alone, determining the nature itself is what is called Jnanam. Swarupa Avadharanam is called Atma Jnanam. Determining your nature. What is my nature? Determining your nature is what is called understanding the truth. Determining your nature. Mamapi aham jnatavan. Iti atma-vishekasya ajnanasya paramarshosthi. Satya kadachit grahana abhavepi satyapi. Even though there is no grahana abhavaha, but still there is grahana abhavaha, but there is mithya jnanam. Mithya jnanam, MULAVIDYA is there. Grahana abhava is there, mithya jnanam is there. Why there is no grahanam? Because mithya jnanam. Mithya jnanam comes in the way of understanding. Iti the MULAVIDYAvadis say. Tatra kadachitka grahana bhave satyapi nitya swayam jyotisha anavagama hetuho asatvat. There in the deep sleep state there is no agrahana, but still MULAVIDYA is there, and therefore there is no reason why you should not understand yourself, your nature. If your nature is there, then why you should not understand your nature in Sushupti? He asks a question. In Sushupti, you can't objectify. Understanding the truth does not mean objectifying. You can only be it. You can be it. You can't objectify it. You can't objectify the truth. You can only be it. You can't objectify the truth. And therefore, viparita grahana mithya jnanasya sushupta abhavat. In Sushupti, there is no mithya grahana. I am the body, this thought is not there. I mean, there is no mithya grahanam. Agrahanam and anidha grahanam. Agrahanam means non-perception of the object, non-understanding of the truth. And mithya grahanam means the misunderstanding of the truth. This mithya grahanam is not there in Sushupti. You become free from, you transcend the body. You know, you are free from the body. You are free, you don't feel it, you don't miss it also. You don't feel it, you don't miss it. And therefore, similarly, you don't feel the thoughts, you don't miss the thoughts. You don't feel your house, you don't miss your house. And therefore, everybody is after the deep sleep, in the deep sleep state, transcends the body, the senses, the mind, the breath, etc. And therefore, there is no mithya, there is no misconception at all in Sushupti. But there is no grahanam. There is no grahanam also. But because mithya jnanam is there, because of mithya jnanam comes in the way of understanding grahanam. And therefore there is grahana bhava. Grahana bhava is caused by MULAVIDYA. They say, MULAVIDYA. Please write down the notes. Viparita grahana mithya jnana susupta bhavat. Kevalam sanskaranam. The potentiality of the mithya jnanam does not give you, does not create any problem. Does not pose any problem in understanding the truth. The potentiality of mithya jnanam does not pose any problems in understanding the truth. And therefore, if you didn't, and therefore, mithya jnanasya sushupto abhavat केवल मिथ्या ज्ञान संस्काराण तत्वज्ञान प्रतिबंधक सामर्थ्य अभावाच्छ ज्ञान विरोधी भूतम भावरूप सूक्ष्म अवस्थापना. Therefore, something has to be accepted in Sushupti. And what is that? Bhavarupam mithya jnanam, bhavarupam, and it is something material in nature, has to be accepted. Bhavarupam Mithya Jnanam, Kinchid Avaranam. Kinchid Avaranam means some cover has to be iti avasham abhyutam bhavati. It has to be accepted. This consciousness, it is something that covers the consciousness, and therefore it has to be accepted in Sushupti. Why? Because even though there is no Agrahanam, the Agrahanam is, you come, Mula Vidya is there, it comes in the way of Grahanam. And therefore, and also, the Sanskara, Mithya, there is no Mithya Jnana. Misconception is not there, that I am the body, this thought is not there. But yet, the potentiality is there. The potentiality doesn't have this capacity to come in the way of knowledge. According to him, he thinks like that. MULAVIDYA-NIRASA. Please write down the notes. The notes, I hope I will be able to give the notes. I will be able to deliver the notes properly. Karana Vidya Sambandha Asti in Sushupta. Atma, even though it has Sambandha in the waking, with the waking objects and the dream objects, even though Atma has Sambandha in the waking, with the waking objects, in the dream, with the dream objects, and in the deep sleep state also, Mula Vidya, it has got Sambandha with, Atma has Sambandha with Mula Vidya. Atma has Sambandha with Mula Vidya. Atma has Sambandha with Mula Vidya. That means Atma has no, Atma is not Advitiyam in any state. Atma is not Advitiyam in any state. On what basis can you teach Vedanta? On what basis can you teach Vedanta? If Advitiyam is not there, evident. If Atma is not, Advitiyatvam is not evident, how can you teach Vedanta? Because on the basis of evidence alone, a scientist also goes to the Shastra, goes to the world. He says the law of gravitation. Newton discovered the law of gravitation, but he saw everything going up comes back. That is evident. It is sense evident. Doesn't matter, and it is not self-evident. It is sense-evident event, and that event was evident. Either it is self-evident or it is sense-evident. The world is sense-evident. The objects are sense-evident. Anything that is objectifiable is sense-evident. Anything that is unobjectifiable is self-evident. And therefore, the sense-evident Atma, the Atma is Advitiyam, you can't say. Without the evidence of Advitiyatvam of Atma, how can you teach Vedanta? Without the evidence of Advitiyatvam of Atma, how can one teach Vedanta? How can one teach Vedanta? That is within brackets. The Mula Vidyavadi continues. The Mula Vidyavadi continues. The Mula Vidyavadi continues. The Mula Vidyavadi continues. Even though in the deep sleep state, there is no limitation felt. Even though in the deep sleep state, there is no limitation felt, etc. Paricheda shunya iva drishyate sushupto tathapi tadanemapi vijite eva mithya. Even though the deep sleep state appears to be free from limitation, etc., but still Mula Vidya is there. Atma has Mula Vidya Sambandha. Mula Vidya Sambandha. Mula Vidya connection is there. Because it is Jnana Vajyam, it is negatable by Jnanam, and therefore it is Jnana Virodhi. Mula Vidya is Jnana Virodhi, not Jnana Abhavam. Mula Vidya is Jnana Virodhi, not Jnana Abhavam. It is Jnana Virodhi. Considering that it can be negated by Jnana, it is considered to be Jnana Virodhi. And it is something, Tvaja Michai Tuchit Tatapi, And mukti, it continues to be there, because it continues to be there until man is liberated. Man is liberated. It continues to be there until man is liberated from it. And therefore, by Sushupti alone, nobody has gained liberation. By Sushupti alone, by going into the deep sleep state alone, nobody has got liberation. Nobody gains liberation. Nobody gains liberation. This ignorance is synonymous with Maya. It is also called Maya, Avidya, Prakriti, Bija, etc. All these things mean the same thing, according to MULAVIDYA-NIRASA. All these things mean the same thing, according to MULAVIDYA-NIRASA. And this Mula Vidya has got causal state and the state of effect. Effect as in the form of the effects. It has in the Sushupti, the Mula Vidya becomes subtle. In the Sushupti, Mula Vidya becomes subtle and becomes Karanavastha, becomes causal state. And in the waking and in the dream, it is in the state of effect. It is in the state of the effect. It is in the state of effect. In Sushupti, it becomes the Karanavastha. Yes, it is true. Yes, it is true. Yes, it is true. Yes, it is true. It is not seen in the deep sleep state. It is not seen in the deep sleep state. It is not felt in the deep sleep state. But still, due to lack of manifestation alone, due to lack of a factor that makes it evident, Vyanjaka means due to the lack of Vyanjaka bhavas. What is Vyanjaka? That is a very big thing. See, you're all ordinary people, but Vyanjaka means Sanskrit is not known to you, and therefore you feel a little handicapped. But otherwise, Vyanjaka bhavat means what is Vyanjakam? That if you understand, then it becomes very, very easy. What is Vyanjakam? Vyanjakam means that which makes it manifest. The senses are not there. The senses make either it is Pramana Siddham or it is Swata Siddham. And if it is Atma, is something that is, if you say the senses are closed, the senses are, even if they are open, then there is no deep sleep state. When the senses are closed, only the perception of the object goes away. When the Atma does not become manifest and unmanifest. There is no, it is self-evident. It is always the same, it is always there. And therefore, what is it that Vyanjakam means what? Vyanjaka bhavadeva, I am agraha. Due to lack of Vyanjakam, there is bhava of grahana, there is agrahanam. There is non-understanding. Not because it is not there, not because it is non-existent, not because it is non-existent, not because it is non-existent. Iti suptochitanam, those people who get up remember it. Suptochitanam uthanam avagamete, paramarshad avagamete. The people who get up from deep sleep state also remember that it was not because it was non-existent, it was existent. Yeah, the paramarsha is, their memory is like this. Memory is like this. Memory is like this. Dash and then write down. In the deep sleep state, I did not know anything. I did not see anything. I did not see anything. No, I did not see anything. This paramarsha, this memory doesn't prove the absence of jnana alone. This memory does not prove that the absence of knowledge alone. Pradyogi jnanasyapi abhava. There is no jnanam also in the deep sleep state. There is no pratyogi jnanam also is not there. From the waking point of view, we say, I did not see anything. The waking objects were not there in the deep sleep state. The waking objects were not there in the deep sleep state. But from the Anubhava standpoint, it is Advaitam. From the Anubhava Drishti, it is Advaitam. Because there was no thought of ignorance, no thought of knowledge also. Because there was no thought of ignorance, no thought of knowledge. And therefore it is Advaitam. And also one thinks, I did not know myself in the deep sleep state. I did not know myself in the deep sleep state. I did not know myself means I did not know myself as an individual. The individuality absence only means the Brahmatvam. The absence of limitation means absoluteness. Absoluteness, only yourself are there. And therefore, mamapi ahame iti atma vishayakasya ajnanasya paramarshosti. One remember there is memory of self-ignorance and self-ignorance in the deep sleep state. There is memory of self-ignorance in the deep sleep state. There is memory of self-ignorance in the deep sleep state. And also, Agrahanam is considered to be, by the MULAVIDYA-vadi, it is incidental. Agrahanam is incidental. Whereas Mula-Vidya is Anadi. Mula-Vidya is Anadi. Mula-Vidya covers the consciousness. Mula-Vidya covers consciousness. And therefore, Mula-Vidya being material, it is a bhavarupa, it is a presence of something, it is a presence of material thing, and therefore, it has to be accepted in the Sushupti. Something has to be accepted in Sushupti, he says. Something has to be accepted in Sushupti. Even though you don't see, but it's not because it's not there, but because Vyanjaka Bhava. Vyanjaka Bhava और भाव से ऐसा होता है. Vyanjaka Bhava, because of Vyanjaka Bhava, Vyanjaka means the manifesting individual. The senses are not there, and therefore it is not seen. As though it is seen by the senses. Avidya is not seen by the senses, Ji. Avidya is never experienced by the senses. It is experienced by the conscious being himself. The dream is remembered by the experiencer. The one who experienced alone remembers, Ji. The one who did not experience doesn't remember. And therefore you have to experience the thing. You remember the waking, you remember the dream. And therefore these objects are what? They are a matter of experience. Because they are a matter of experience, and therefore, even though they are not remembered, that is how I find myself is not memory. The waking is not remembered in the dream, whereas the dream is remembered in the waking. The dream is remembered in the waking. इसको खोल दिया इसको खोल दिया कहाँ thank you जी. Why I feel very bad जी.
You should switch on the fan for me.
My as a stuffy. Very difficult to study, very difficult to Jnana Virodhi Bhutam, no, not necessary. Jnana Virodhi Bhutam, something has to be understood, something has to be accepted. You say you have written down? Even though it covers the consciousness. MULAVIDYA covers consciousness. MULAVIDYA cannot cover consciousness that is unlimited. In the light of consciousness alone, in the light of consciousness, please write down, in the light of consciousness alone, everything is seen, everything is seen, everything is seen, everything is seen only in the light of consciousness. And that consciousness cannot be covered. Covering means making it unevident. Everything is evident because consciousness is evident. Consciousness is choicelessly evident. What is choicelessly evident cannot be covered. The unlimited consciousness cannot be covered, and that is its nature. Consciousness is its nature. Consciousness is its nature. To be unlimited is its nature. And determining the nature of yourself, and determining the nature of consciousness is what is called knowledge, understanding. Determining the nature of consciousness is what is called understanding the truth. Determining means understanding the determining. Understanding the determining. It is not merely determining that the Atma is, consciousness is unlimited, and therefore it is not something. You have to determine. Determine means with understanding. You have to understandingly, you have to determine. Understandingly, you have to determine. What is determining itself is understanding. Determining its nature itself is understanding. And therefore, in Sushupti, the MULAVIDYA-vadi says that some MULAVIDYA has to be inferred. But in fact, there is no such thing called MULAVIDYA. We reject MULAVIDYA. There is no MULAVIDYA. There is no MULAVIDYA. These MULAVIDYA-vadis, they are called, anybody who accepts, who supports that school, he is called MULAVIDYA-vadi. MULAVIDYA-vadi means the one who supports, the one who promotes MULAVIDYA-vada. He is called MULAVIDYA-vadi. Just as we have BJP, Congress, etc. In the same manner, we have MULAVIDYA-vada, MULAVIDYA-vadi, and Adhyasa-vadi. Adhyasa alone is there. Without Adhyasa, there is nothing is possible. I am Deha is a contradictory thought, and that is what is called Adhyasa. Any contradictory thought is called Adhyasa. Any misunderstanding is called Adhyasa. When you go to somehow new place, you see the north as south, and south as north, and the east as west, and the west as east, and that is called Digbranti. And that is also called, that is called Adhyasa. Any Bhranti is called Adhyasa. It is called a Bhranti. And it is, you experience the Adhyasa. Thank you, Ji. Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you, Ji.